Hello and welcome to Smart Agriculture. I am Vivian Fernandez in Muzaffarpur in Bihar. In this episode, we make a case for corn or maize. Maize is the third most important cereal crop after rice and wheat, though it trails them in output by some distance. But it is the fastest growing cereal crop. It's also a climate resilient crop requiring less water and is a more efficient converter of solar energy. With quality protein maize, it has become nutritionally useful as well. Maize, in other words, is truly amazing.
A cob of corn roasted by the roadside, or a cup of steamed sweet corn is an allure few can resist. Without a packet of popcorn, movie watching loses some of its charm. Cornflakes for breakfast, nachos as anytime nibbles, and makke ki roti, a fixture in northwest India's wintertime feast. Maize plays a major role in human diet.
Corn is basically a produce which is going to go into the human consumption, not directly as grains, but more as the nutritional requirement going forward, and that has to do a direct link with the GDP. If the GDP grows, the food habits change, and the food habits, when they change, people go for the more nutritional diets, processed foods, and that's where the corn comes into the picture.
Maize production in India has doubled to 24 million tons since the turn of the century, the output growing over 7% a year. Average yield per hectare has increased from a low of 1.7 tons to more than 2.5 tons. Government support price has tripled during this period too. Only a fifth of the corn consumed in India is directly eaten. A little over a tenth goes for starch, while chicken feed accounts for a majority of consumption.
For us, feed is 80% of our turnover. Out of a feed, 60% of our volume is maize, which is the value of 35%. So for us, it is a very, very important product.
It is the demand from the feed and starch industries which keeps farmers in Bihar busy. Sudhanshu Kumar, a large farmer in Nayanagar village of Samastipur district, has been growing maize for more than 30 years. He recalls that maize was not profitable in the past, unlike now.
I think the first reason is the seed. Suddenly, because I know my father used to do a lot of maize. Even then, after him, we did maize. But since this single hybrid and these new varieties of seeds that have come in, there's been a dramatic change in yield.
Bihar has taken to maize because it's almost a fail-safe crop during the Rabi season. Its 5-year Rabi maize productivity is 3 tons per hectare, which does not compare with Tamil Nadu or Andhra's. But it is higher than that of Karnataka and Maharashtra. But averages conceal wide variations. In this cluster of villages, farmers have got 7.5 to 8 tons per hectare. Last year it was higher, and each has a unique reason for adopting maize.
इस बार का जो मौसम इतना खराब था, तो मक्का एक ऐसा फसल था जो सब कुछ झेल लिया, फिर भी यील्ड मेंटेन में कुछ आया। गेहूं एकदम सीधे 50% चला गया।
ये मक्का का खेती हमारा बहुत अच्छा होता है, और खास करके इस बार और अच्छा हुआ है।
धान नहीं होता है यहाँ पर, पानी जो नहीं लगता है ना खेत में, इसलिए धान नहीं हो पाता है। तो मकई करना ज़रूरी है। किसान लोग हैं कि धान नहीं, मकई नहीं करेंगे तो फिर कैसे होगा, जिएंगे कैसे?
While India's Rabi maize productivity is high, Kharif maize grown during monsoons pulls the average down to 2.5 tons per hectare, which is less than half of the global average. Last year, India exported 16% of its maize output, worth a little over $1 billion. And South and Southeast Asia now present a big export opportunity. Domestically, demands from the poultry, starch and the food processing industry are quite strong. But only 75 of 524 districts where maize is grown have a yield of more than 3 tons per hectare. So how can India increase its maize productivity?
There are almost 80% of the districts that grow corn that harvest corn much below the national averages, right? So it is not sustainable, for that farmer to grow a hybrid seed. And so we have to educate them, and we have to increase their profitability. And once you make it a profitable business, like any other business, farmer would invest more and the hybridization would grow.
India's focus should be on improving maize productivity during the Kharif or monsoon season. It is a time when maize gets lodged because of strong winds, root rot sets in, and there are pest attacks.
Kharif maize, we cannot leave because of low productivity. We have to make sure that productivity rises. See, why Kharif maize productivity is low? Because farmers' investment in Kharif maize is low. They will not sow really the good hybrid seed. They will not apply inputs. So all those things, if they are taken care of in Kharif maize also, its productivity can be increased.
There are quality issues as well. Indian maize is generally smaller with about 450 grains per 100 grams against 300 grains preferred by the feed industry. The starch content is lesser than US corn. High moisture because of inadequate drying also affects quality, but productivity remains a key concern.
The United States gets 11 tons of maize per hectare, Argentina 8 and Brazil 5. These countries use single cross hybrids genetically modified for insect resistance and herbicide tolerance. These traits plus drought tolerance would be useful for India as well. In the Philippines, farmers have adopted GM corn as readily as BT cotton in India. And Vietnam has licensed 4 new varieties since September 2014. Can India compete without these plant protection and labor-saving technologies? It's a matter for policymakers to think over. With that, we slip into a break. When we return, what is stalling Punjab's diversification from rice to maize? Welcome back to Smart Agriculture. The wheat rice cycle, which Punjab has adopted because of assured procurement from the government, has given the nation food security but played havoc with the state's groundwater. In 9,000 square kilometers of central Punjab, the water table is below 20 meters or 66 feet. In 110 of 138 blocks, the water utilization rate is more than the rate of recharge, says the state's economic survey. Punjab used to grow a lot of maize at one time, and makke di roti used to be the winter staple, but the state is finding it difficult to persuade farmers to go back to old practices.
At this maize event in Delhi in April, the Punjab government official who is driving the state's diversification from rice to maize was a trifle unhappy with the results.
Only 3% area in 1966-67 had water table below 10 meters. Today in 2015, I have 92% area which is below 10 meters. That is the speed at which the water table is declining.
The farmers are reluctant to replace rice with maize in monsoon, as income from maize does not match that of rice due to low yield.
The lesser the productivity, lesser the remuneration, less the income for the farmers. See, most of the seed companies, when they come to us and when they are tried, the seeds, hybrids are tried in the regulated environment, they give us 8 tons per hectare. But for the last 2 years, we've been trying all these hybrids after trials by the Punjab Agriculture Universities, but still our productivity is maximum we've reached is 4 tons per hectare, which is not remunerative. We need minimum 6 to 8 tons per hectare to secure a fair amount of remuneration, a good livelihood for the farmers.
In the 1960s, Punjab had 5 lakh hectares under maize. It wants as much area under rice to switch to maize over 5 years, but has managed to reclaim only a quarter of that area so far, despite subsidized seeds and the state investing in facilities like dryers.
Punjab farmer has not historically been growing in large proportions. So the question is there going to be a buyer? Will I get the return for actually growing this crop on my piece of land? Or should I continue to grow rice where I'm sure there will be an MSP and there will be a buyer? So it's also about the farmer feeling very comfortable that there is going to be a market when the output lands up in his field. And the third one really is for the government to work closer, and they are encouraging that, and in close collaboration and cooperation with farmers, seed companies, input providers, as well as the processing industry, whether it is poultry, starch, food processing, which is where this corn can be used. So really a very vibrant ecosystem, which works together, which stays committed and knows that this is going to take some time for this change to happen.
This farmer in Jalandhar is a supplier of certified seed potatoes to state governments. He used to grow rice on all 160 acres during monsoons, but no longer does, as it delays the more remunerative potato crop.
By not growing rice and not puddling the paddy fields, he helps recharge the aquifers. But the spring maize that he grows depends entirely on groundwater. It is not clear whether his practices are helping or hurting.
I'm doing it because I want my area to survive this, you can say, water deficiency which is going on this area. Because this area was growing a lot of paddy. I was also growing 100% paddy at my farm. So now I switched back to corn. My father was in fact growing corn in 70s. So that time we were not getting very good hybrids and the yields were low. But as with the new companies coming in, we've got very good hybrids and yields. My average yield last year was 3.5 tons per acre. So I'm doing pretty good in corn.
This farmer in Nawashahar, about 60 kilometers from Ludhiana, has replaced a quarter of his paddy acreage with maize and intends to do more after being alarmed by water dropping to below 65 feet.
धान के जो साइड इफ़ेक्ट हैं हमको दिखाई नहीं देते, वो मक्की से ज़्यादा है। एक तो जो हमारा वातावरण जिसकी वजह से दूषित हो रहा है, दूसरा जो पानी की समस्या है वो भी धान की वजह से हमारे पंजाब में आई हुई है। काफ़ी लेवल जो वाटर है वो नीचे चल गया है। एक और है कि यही धान की वजह से जो पानी खड़ा रहता है उसकी वजह से बीमारियां या फसलों की बीमारियां, फंगस वगैरह भी ज़्यादा हो रही हैं।
We produce maize, how to utilize it? We should give importance to animal feed. Punjab is doing very well in the case of dairy as well as poultry, and lot of maize can go to that size. Another area is processing. If you go to USA, so many products are being developed, but in India, food processing didn't get that much importance. Major reason was that in 60s we didn't have enough to eat, so there was no question of processing. But we should have applied some mid-course collection in mid-80s or early 90s, which was not done.
Within the Punjab, huge demand for corn because poultry is growing a lot. Jammu also poultry is growing a lot. And for example, the chicken to army coming from extreme south, if they gave good processing slaughterhouses in Punjab, so the consumption of poultry will go up. Because of that, maize consumption also will go up. Finally, the farmer will get a remunerative price.
Farmers need migration out of agriculture, not diversification, says this exasperated NRI, who returned to work the fields 8 years ago, after a stint at a post office in San Jose in California. The farmers are willing to follow good agricultural practices provided yield and prices compensate.
सर बेच पाते हैं तो बहुत सारे तकलीफ़ों के बीच में से गुजरना पड़ता है। किसी के पास जाते हैं वो बोलता है कि यूपी से रैक आ गया है तो इसकी प्राइस लो है। तो वहाँ से रैक आ गया, मेज़ बहुत है, ऐसा है, वी हैव टू गो थ्रू दैट बिगेस्ट आई थिंक लाइज। तो फिर फाइनली जब आता है फिर बोलते हैं मॉइस्चर बहुत है इसमें।
The government does not procure despite announcing a support price for maize because it cannot push it through the public distribution system. So the answer lies in encouraging industries that use maize and promoting quality protein maize or QPM as a preferred food item.
In the case of normal maize, only 40% of its protein content is absorbed by the body in the absence to 2 amino acids.
But quality protein maize developed by Sudhir Vasal and Evangelina Viegas in the 1990s allows 80% of maize protein to be utilized. This is more than that of rice and wheat. What is more, the quality of protein is like that of milk casein.
What is going to happen? Demand is going to be generated. Once we spread awareness that quality protein maize is of better quality, it's healthier, it's got a nutritious protein, therefore demand is going to rise.
QPM has been used in the Orange Maize campaign in sub-Saharan Africa to address protein deficiency. Its productivity, scientists say, is now equal to that of normal maize, but they will have to convince farmers first.
I would beg to differ out here, because if the productivity has come at par, I would have been the first person to do it. I tried Shaktiman 1, Shaktiman 2, right up to Shaktiman 3, alongside these other hybrids, but I was never able to get that yield.
Currently, hardly 1% of India's production is quality protein maize. The government should sell it through ration shops and push it to schools for midday meals and as a nutritional supplement in Anganwadis for infants and new mothers. Food processors should be able to charge a premium for QPM fortified atta and pay a higher price to growers. This is one grain that can combine nutritional security with environmental sustainability. That is all we have in this episode of Smart Agriculture. We'll be back with another. Till then, goodbye and take care.